The supply line in Zaporizhzhia region is cracking at the seams, and in some places it is even torn. This is the area where Master Sergeant Marcus and his 47th Magura Brigade work. The most difficult line of defense of the occupants, where the maximum resource is concentrated to hinder the defense forces of Ukraine by means of minefields and rat holes, is in fact pushed through. The Mokry Yeli River continues the mostly remote work of the artillery in the direction of Staromlinivka, which is a stronghold for the second line of Russian troops. In addition, artillery fire is also being taken at the rear of the third line, and air defense systems are being destroyed from time to time as a result. Also, there is a process of alignment of the right flank, from which the regular army has withdrawn to the second line along the Orlinsk, Lubimivka, Novozlotopol strongholds, leaving in the fields a support strip of convicts from Storm Z and new recruits. In other words, the Russian command clearly has no hope of holding the supply strip in this sector. The situation in the Robotino area is very similar. The fate of the settlement may be decided in the next few days, taking into account the fact that there is nothing seriously stopping the Ukrainian defense forces in this area anymore. The supply line in this direction has been pushed through, and the Russian side is considering the option of retreating to a new line, but there is a nuance. In case Robotino is liberated, the occupants will pour in the direction of Novoprokopivka, Ilchinkov and Solodka Bolko along Route 0408. That is, most logically, the Russian invaders should have fled immediately and without looking back to Tokmak. Otherwise, nothing good awaits them in this location, except the lottery, to be liquidated, wounded, or to run with heels flashing. In the area of Mala Tokmashka, the 38th Russian Brigade and volunteers of the Bars detachment failed to cope with holding the Ukrainian pressure, and in the near future in the direction of Polog I do not rule out what is called Cascade. This culminating moment is already observable, especially given the losses of the invaders and the proportionality of their resource in this location. In this context, the revitalization of the Ukrainian defense forces in the direction of Doroshnyanka and Marfopol looks quite logical. These are the areas of responsibility of the 177th Regiment of the Caspian Flotilla Marines and the 64th Separate Guards Motor Rifle Brigade. That is, the pressure on Polog will grow not only from the right flank, but also from the north. Most likely in the next few days the advanced units of the AFU will reach the first positions of the main enemy defense line in the southern operating zone, at least in one area. And by the end of the week at 2 more sites. To summarize the above, July is a hot month. Meanwhile, Russian propaganda was given the task of erasing all the so-called achievements of the Wagner Group in the minds of Russians. It turns out that Bakhmut was not the most important city, as they themselves said with their own mouths for 11 months, and the Wagner PMC fought not very effectively and generally took too long to take it. The entire so-called feat of the Wagner PMC was destroyed in just one story, while they churn out dozens of them, trying once again to brainwash already brainwashed consumers of their content. At the same time, the trap of Bakhmut is still not over for the Russian occupiers. A new phase has already been launched.